Please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now convened for its 6th regular session. The Honorable Vice Governor Adeline M. Angeles presiding.
The 6th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now called to order. Requesting Honorable Mangkukang from Magpog to lead the invocation to be followed by National Anthem.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, as we go through another phase of our legislative work, always guide our intellects and our hearts. Make us both receptive and sensitive to the political ideas and opinions of our fellow Sanggunian. Remind us of the reality that although we are diverse in our views and our advocacies, we are one and united towards pursuing lasting progress and prosperity for the people, that we all strive to ensure the welfare of our citizenry for whom we have committed to serve. Dear God, as we go to fulfill our mandate to legislate laws aimed at uplifting lives and safeguarding the interest of our citizens, always make us remember that all this is to make true our commitment to nation building that will eventually redound to the growth and development of our Filipino nation. All this we pray in the name of our Almighty Father. Amen. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Bayang magiliw, sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa bibig mo'y umay. Lupang hinilang, tuyat ka ng magiliw, sa manlulubi, kita masisiling, sa lalatang puno, sa simoy at sa langit mo, ay kailang ang tula at awit sa paglalaki. Mag-isang lang wataran mo'y nabuhay na ang bituin na kanya kailan pa may pag-ibig. Parang araw na ay pagsakang kaya sa atin ko. Ang ligaya naman ay mamating at namatay na tayo sa'yo.
Mr. Secretary, kindly call the roll.
Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang III, Honorable Bernardine Opis Mercado, Honorable Mel Gabal R. N. Cabo, Honorable Mercedes Arihano, Honorable Danilo R. Red, Honorable Ismael D. Pilim, Honorable Joel T. Cruzado, Honorable Baldomero L. Limpiada, Honorable Loren R. Rosales. Madam Presiding Officer, with 7 members of the board present, we have the necessary quorum for this morning session. And for the information of Madam Presiding Officer, we have received a letter from Honorable Joel T. Cruzado this morning, corollary to the letter of Honorable Neril Manggol, which is included in today's agenda.
Before we declare the quorum, can the good secretary read the letter of Honorable Cruzado?
The letter reads: Philippine Councilors League PCL Marinduque Federation, August 10, 2022. Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor and Presiding Officer, Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Buwak, Marinduque. Through Board Member Aurelio J. Leva III, Chairman, Committee on Rules, Resolutions and Ordinances. Dear Honorable Vice Governor Angeles, greetings. This is to inform you that I will no longer attend the SP regular session since there was already a newly elected PCL President to represent the ex officio membership. In this regard, I am now formally endorsing Honorable Jose Neril L. Mangol, our new PCL President, after the result of the conducted election last August 8, 2022, wherein he was proclaimed and took his oath of official duty. Thank you for the opportunity and privilege of working with the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for more than a month. More power and regards to the honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Very respectfully, signed Honorable Joel T. Cruzado, SB Member, Torrijos, past Interim President, PCL Marinduque Federation.
Okay, thank you. That explains why the good gentleman from Torrijos is not with us anymore in today's session. With how many members? With 7 members of the board present, the chair declares quorum. The Honorable Floor Leader.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, related to just concluded roll call of the members of the board and reference to the communication coming from the Honorable Joel P. Cruzado, may I move that we suspend the rules as far as the order of business is concerned to give way to the communication coming from the Honorable Councilor Jose Neril Mangol of the Sangguniang Bayan of Mugpo. I so move.
Upon motion by the chairperson of the Committee on Rules, the chair declares suspension of the rules.
Madam Chair, may I move that we take into consideration the communication coming from the Honorable Jose Neril Mangol. And may I ask the Secretary to please read the said communication.
Mr. Secretary, kindly read the communication from Honorable Mangol.
The letter reads, Republic of the Philippines, Province of Marinduque, Buwak, Office of the Philippine Councilors League, PCL, Marinduque Federation. August 9, 2022, Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor of Marinduque, Capitol Building, Buwak, Marinduque. Dear Honorable Vice Governor Angeles, greetings of peace and good day. I am forwarding herewith the official results in the conducted election of PCL Marinduque Federation officers, of which I was duly elected and proclaimed as the new PCL Federation President. Along with also is my oath of official duty, duly signed by our DILG Provincial Director. For consideration of the Honorable Sangguniang Panlalawigan as the official ex-officio member of the Marinduque PCL, I remain very respectfully Honorable Jose Neril L. Mangol, Municipal Councilor of Mugpog and newly elected PCL Marinduque President.
What is the pleasure of the floor leader?
Madam Presiding Officer, before we continue, may I ask that to recognize the Honorable Ismael D. Pilim.
The Honorable Gentleman from Santa Cruz, Honorable Lim, is recognized. Kindly consider in the roll.
Madam Presiding Officer, based on the foregoing communication, the Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Federation has a new president in the person of Honorable Jose Neril Mangol, who will sit as an ex-officio member of the board. I therefore move that we recognize the Honorable Jose Neril Mangol as an ex-officio member of the board representing the Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Federation and be considered present in today's session. I so move.
There is a motion from the floor leader and chairperson of the Committee on Rules, Honorable Leva, for the present Sanggunian to recognize Honorable Neril Mangol as official representative of the PCL in the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan and likewise to recognize his presence in today's session. Any second to that motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. Honorable Neril Mangol, officially representing the Philippine Councilors League of the Philippines, Marinduque Chapter in the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is duly recognized. Before we proceed to the reading, you may take your seat now, Honorable Mangol. That is your seat. Can we give a warm applause to the new member of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan? And before we proceed, I just want to read everyone. I just want to greet everyone a pleasant day. All our colleagues in the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan, our secretariat, including and also our new member, and also our guest, and everyone who is with us in our 6th regular session. Okay, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, in view of the recognition of the Honorable Member, Honorable Manggol as ex officio member of the board, may I move that we elect the Honorable Jose Neril Manggol for the following committees. Chairperson of the Committee on Energy and Public Utilities, Vice Honorable Cruzado. Chairperson of the Committee on Human Rights and Social Justice, Vice Honorable Cruzado. Chairperson of the Committee on Ways and Means, Vice Honorable Ismael D. Pilim, who has 4 committees already. Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Games and Amusement, Vice Honorable Cruzado. Members of the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Committee on Barangay Affairs, Committee on Blue Ribbon, Good Governance and Public Accountability, Committee on Human Resource, Labor and Employment, Committee on Local Economic Enterprise, Private-Public Partnership and Investment Promotion, Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances, and Committee on Trade and Industry, Vice Honorable Cruzado. I so move, Madam Presiding Officer.
There is a motion duly seconded, but just a query from the chair. Is it okay for us to approve that motion in the
This will be in the form of a resolution.
Okay, I forgot that we suspended the rules.
Yes.
Okay, there is a motion by Honorable Leva, seconded by Honorable Lim, and also Honorable Red for the chairmanship, for the Honorable Neril Manggol to chair the said committees as mentioned, together with the memberships as also enumerated by Honorable Leva. Is there any objection to that? The chair hears none. Honorable Manggol is now the chairperson of the Committee on Energy, Committee on Human Rights, and Committee on Ways and Means. The motion is approved.
Madam Presiding Officer.
Yes, our floor leader.
May I move that we give time to the new member of the board, the Honorable Jose Neril Manggol, to address this august body during the privileged hour of today's session, thereby suspending the rules on the scheduling of the privileged speech. I so move.
There's a motion for the address of the new member of this august body from PCL to be included in the question hour. That is a manifestation, a motion from the chairperson of the Committee on Rules cannot be objected. The chair hereby declare it approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, I move that we lift the suspension of the rules.
The internal rules of procedure of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now resumed. Proceed.
Madam Presiding Officer, for the reading and adoption of the minutes of the previous session dated August 5, 2022, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes without prejudice to the corrections and amendments and clarification from the members of the board.
There's a motion by the chair that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with without prejudice to the corrections to be given by the members of this august body. Any second to that? Any objection? The chair hears none. Proceed, Mr. Floor Leader.
Madam Chair, may I manifest some corrections on page 16 of the minutes. As far as my memory serves me right, I move for the amendment of the title of the resolution by deleting the clause in partnership with the Rotary Club of Western Port, USA, the Rotary Club of Ohio, the Rotary Foundation, and the Rotary International, so that it will be read as follows: authorizing the Honorable Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco to execute and sign a deed of donation between the Rotary Club of Marinduque North and the province of Marinduque for the donation of 2 units, and so on and so forth. May I ask for the correction of the same?
Okay, our secretariat kindly take note of the correction. Meron pa po bang ibang pagbabago ang ilan nating mga kasama? Ang tagapangulo po ay merong correction sa line 285. Pakilagay lang ho. Tanggalin na lang yung unang walang kumpletong datos. Palitan po natin yung kumpleto ng pangunang. Ito ng walang pangunang datos at impormasyon na pwedeng makalap mula sa ilang ahensya. Meron pa po bang ilang pagtatama ang ilan sa ating mga kasama? Kung wala na po, ano po ang
Madam
nais
Chair,
ng
since there's no other members of the board who wishes to correct the minutes, may I move that we adopt the minutes of the 5th regular session dated August 5, 2022 as corrected. I so move.
Any second to the motion? As moved by the chairman of the Committee on Rules, duly seconded. The minutes of the 5th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now adopted with correction.
Madam Chair, we now go to the matters arising from the minutes, inviting members of the board who have some matters arising from the just adopted minutes of the previous session.
Any members of this august body with matters arising from the minutes? There seems to be no one. Proceed, Honorable Floor Leader.
For the approval and amendment of the agenda, we have a privileged speech coming from the just recognized member of the board, the Honorable Jose Neri Manggol. Then another privileged speech from the Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang. We have a question hour for our newly appointed provincial agriculturist in the person of Mr. Edelberto M. De Luna. For the messages and correspondence from the governor, aside from the item number 1, we would like to add another item which was certified as urgent, a letter from the governor requesting the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for an authority to apply for economic zone in Balugo Port and other proposed area in Ino Kapayang Mugbog and former Marcapan mine site in Barangay Labo and San Antonio, Santa Cruz, and to appoint representative for the said purpose as another item under the messages and correspondence from the governor. We have six items for the communications and petition. No municipal ordinances for review. Three items one item for the proposed ordinance and 2 items for the proposed resolution, and five items for committee reports. We don't have any unfinished business for the business for the day. We have 4 items. We don't have unassigned business, as well as proposed ordinance for resolution for third and final reading. On that note, Madam Presiding Officer, I move for the adoption and approval of the agenda as amended. I so move.
There's a motion by the floor leader to approve today's agenda with amendment. Any objection? The chair hears none. Today's agenda as amended is approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, for today's privilege hour, may I ask that to recognize the gentleman from Ugpog representing the Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Federation, the newly elected President, Honorable Jose Neri Manggol.
With pleasure, the good gentleman from Mogpog and the new PCL representative in this august body is recognized, Honorable Manggol.
Madam Presiding Officer, wala po akong nakasulat na written privilege speech, but kung yung mapapahintulutan ko po ay ito po ay proceed po ako, Madam Chair. Okay po. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Una po ay pasasalamat po sa ating Panginoon sapagkat Ako po ay nabigyan po ng biyaya na makapaglingkod po, hindi lang po sa bayan ng Mugpog, kundi po sa buong lalawigan ng Marinduque. Salamat po sa mga konsehal po na nagtiwala po sa akin, sa amin, upang mailagay po ako o maging kanilang representante sa kaganang-galang ng kapulungan na ito. At maraming salamat din po sa ating pong butihing gobernador, Tatay Presby Velasco, sa ating pong congressman, dating Speaker Lord Alan Velasco, sa ating pong gobernador, Vice Governor Adelindin Angeles, sa mga mayors po, sa dati po namin PCL President, Bukal Jojo Leyva, sa mga mayors, vice mayors po, na sumuporta po upang maging madali po ang laban natin sa nakaraang halalan. Dito po ako sa inyong harapan dahil po sa mga legislative actions po na may kinalaman po sa land utilization, infrastructure, and economic development. Sana po ako po ay maging magaan ang pakikipagtrabaho po sa inyo upang ang aking pong adhikain ng pagtulong sa bayan sa ating pong lalawigan ay madali ko pong maganap. At ito po ay hindi ko po totally pinangarap at plinalo. Kaya sabi ko po, salamat po sa ating Panginoon at sa mga taong tumulong upang ako po ay may lagay po sa posisyong ito. At makakaasa po kayo, ako po ay pangkaraniwang konsihan ng Bayan ng Mugpog at magiging katuwang po ninyo bilang kinatawan at ex officio member po ng ating pong Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Muli po, salamat po sa inyong pagtanggap at makakaasa po kayo ng magigipagtulungan po tayo para sa ikunlad po ng ating pong lalawigan. Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat sa ating bagong miyembro ng Sanggunian at chairpersons ng tatlong mahalagang committee ngayon ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Honorable Neryl Manggol. Mr. Floor Leader.
Madam Presiding Officer, it's the day for the Magbugueños. And for that matter, may I ask that we recognize again the gentleman from Municipality of Mugpog for a privileged speech, the Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang.
Honorable Mangkukang is recognized to render his speech.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Sa lahat ng ating mga pinagpipitagan ng miyembro ng kagalang-galang na kapulungan ito, sa atin pong mahuhusay at masipag na sekretariat, sa lahat ng narito, isang mapagpalang umaga. Isang napakalaking tulong ang pagsasabatas ng Republic Act No. 9994, otherwise known as Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010, na naglalayong mapagkalooban ng social pension ang indigent Filipino citizens dito sa ating bansa in line with the fulfillment of the obligation of the government to protect the most vulnerable sector through social protection and for the full implementation of the said law. Kung atin pong tatanungin, what are the eligibility criteria of the social pension for the indigent senior citizens? Una, ay para sa mga may sakit o kapansanan. Pangalawa, hindi tumatanggap ng pension from SSS, GSIS, or from any sources of pension in government and private agencies. At pangatlo, ay para sa mga wala mang permanenteng pinagkukunan ng kita, kompensasyon at financial assistance from relatives to support basic needs. At ang pangunahing layunin nito is to augment the daily subsistence and other medical needs of indigent senior citizens. Sa mga beneficiary na nakatala dito ay binibigyan po ng benepisyong 500 piso kada buwan at ang schedule of payment ay per semestral at buong tatanggapin ang halagang 3,000 piso na ipamamahagi ng Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD. Ngayon po, Madam Chair, sa kabila po ng napakagandang programa na ito ng ating pamahalaang nasyonal, napakarami pa din po ng mga indigent senior citizens sa ating lalawigan ang hindi man nakakasali at nakakasama sa programang ito. Sa kabila na sila po ay kwalipikado sa mga kriteria ng kwalifikasyon. Marami po ang ating mga nakapanayam na mga lolo at lola. At ayon po sa kanila, ay maraming taon na po silang nag-a-apply at naghahangad na mapabilang sa benepisyong ito. Subalit datapwat, lumipas na ang maraming taon at ang iba ay sumakabilang buhay na, ay hindi pa din sila mapabilang na makatanggap ng social pension na ito. Ano po kaya ang dahilan? May mga tao po kaya na nagmamaniobra nito? May palakasang sistem po kaya sa pagtanggap at pagpili kung sino ang isasama o hindi? O dili kaya'y kamag-anakan o kumpadre system ang umiiral? Nakakalungkot pong isipin na dapat sana ay napapakinabangan na ito ng maraming higit na nangangailangan mga indigent senior citizens sa ating lalawigan, pero sa isang balikot na sistema ay napapagkaitan po sila ng benepisyo na inilaan para sa kanila. Hari nawa sa pribilehiyong pananalita na ito ay muling mabalangkas ang datos ng mga senior citizens sa ating lalawigan at maitala ng tama ang bilang ng mga karapat-dapat na mabigyan ng social pension na ito. Lalo't higit na isa ng ganap na batas ang Republic Act No. 11916 na naglalayong magbigay ng 1,000 piso social pension kada buwan sa lahat ng mga indigent senior citizens sa ating bansa, mula sa halagang 500 piso kada buwan, and with the passage of Republic Act No. 11916, the measures seeking to increase the social pension of indigent senior citizen to not less than 1,000 pesos, we are now affording our lolos and lolas the opportunity to receive better health and life care that they truly deserve. Once again, thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Honorable Mangkukang, for a very timely, privileged speech. With that, the presiding officer, motu proprio, requests our good secretary to make the necessary communication, because the pension program for senior citizen is being directly implemented by the DSWD. This is a national program, so the presiding officer, motu proprio, let's make a letter addressed to the DSWD provincial officer in Marinduque, requesting for her comment and clarification, guidance with regard to the issues raised by Honorable Mangkukang in his privileged speech. Attached copy of the privileged speech of the good gentleman. And from there, based on the written clarification from the SWD, the presiding officer will decide subsequently if we will formally refer this to proper committee. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mangkukang. Yes, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, that terminates the privilege hour for today's session. We now go to the question hour. For the question hour, we have invited the newly appointed provincial agriculturist, no less than the former Assistant Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, Mr. Edilberto M. De Luna, for his concurrence as the provincial government department head under the Provincial Agriculture Office. And may I ask that we recognize the good gentleman for his plans, programs, and introduction of himself.
With pleasure, recognizing the good gentleman whom I respect so much, our former Assistant Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, now working with us as our Provincial Agriculture Officer. Sir Edilberto Luna is recognized. De Luna is recognized. Sir. Ang atin hong panauhin ngayon ay ating naimbitahan sapagkat hiniling ng ating gobernador ang concurrence ng kanyang appointment bilang bagong Provincial Agriculture Officer natin sapagkat nag-retire na ang ating dating Provincial Agriculture Officer in the person of Sir Armand Pedregal. And Sir De Luna, kayo po ay aming minarapat na maimbitahan dito para formal po rin na makadaupang palad kayo ng bawat member ng sanggunian at oportunidad din po para kung sakali ay may maitanong sila na mahalaga sa amin rin hong gawain at the same time ay sa gawain din ho ng Provincial Agriculture Office ay ito'y oportunidad din maliban po sa concurrence ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan sa inyong appointment. Meron po bang baka po kayo ay may initial message para po sa ating mga miyembro ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan?
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Good morning, everyone, to the members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan and the Secretariat and all the guests around. Maybe I will just make a short introduction, then proceed with the plans and programs of the Provincial Agriculture's Office. Well, I am Edilberto M. De Luna. I was born and raised here. I was born in Santa Cruz, Marinduque, in one of the fishing villages there. But I spent, after my graduation from college, I spent 42 years of my life in Manila, in Quezon Province. I started out my career there as a coconut extension worker with the Philippine Coconut Authority in 1987. And retired from the government service in the national government, the Department of Agriculture, in July 2016. So all in all, I spent more than 30 years serving the national government in various capacity. I rose from the ranks from being an agricultural extension worker, reaching the level of the position of Assistant Secretary in the Department of Agriculture. But before that, I served as the Regional Director of the Philippine Coconut Authority, Calabarzon Region. I actually serve 9 department secretaries, from Secretary Mitra to Secretary Piñol. Then after that, I ventured into some sort of employment with the corporate world. I joined the Craplight Philippines as the country director for the Philippines. This is an international consultancy group on policies and regulations on crop protection and biotechnology. And after that, I served for a brief period as the municipal administrator of Santa Cruz. This is actually my third time I had to serve the government. I could have, because I really wanted to help develop agriculture as a primary industry in this province. Because as I scrutinize the available data of this province, agriculture data of this province, assuming those data are correct and validated, it would appear that really this province is a net importer of basic food items. Say, in the case of rice, the sufficiency level here is only 25%. Meaning, if you measure that, your consumption vis-a-vis your population, it's only 25%. So, in layman's term, for every 100 kabans of palay we are consuming, we can only produce as much as 25. So, there is a disparity there. I will not venture the question whether it is a policy or a technology or what, but or farmers' attitude per se. There could be so many reasons, but I would rather look at it, what are the opportunities abound to at least improve the situation of the agricultural sector in this province. So initially what we did is to look closely at agriculture and fisheries on its entirety, meaning look at the value chain segment, because the traditional concept before of agriculture is if you know how to plant, then you're already an agriculturist. But modern times say, even policy makers abroad and our national policy makers are saying that even the current secretary of the department, President of BBM, is saying we look at the segment, we look at the value chain. So concomitant with that, our trust, my proposed trust for agriculture and fishery in this province is to approach agriculture along the value chain. Is it really production the main problem, or are there inadequacies in supply as well as far as supply of inputs, or are there any problem in the market segment, are there any problem in so far as credit and financing, logistics, and even consumption? So we started to look at that, and we have identified 5 commodities. By the way, I cannot find a document as of now detailing a master plan for agriculture in the province. So we are working on that, and to our estimate, basta favorable lang ang sitwasyon, we can gather enough data, invalidate it, we can confidently say that at least by the end of this year, to the minimum we could submit to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan a draft of that master plan. We are looking at a planning horizon of maybe 10 years in the long term, and specify what could be done in the medium term, which is 2022 to 2025, at least an indication of that, what could be done in those years, and very specific and tangible milestone for the coming year, which will be embodied in a carefully prepared work and financial plans, setting the targets and milestones for the coming year. And that is one, that is in support of the national food security agenda, because as we read in the headlines and as we pick it up in the news, agriculture is the priority of the current administration. So they are saying, although agriculture is not really, we could say, a good economic venture to go on, but really there is sense to say that so long as you have enough food, even if you have money, then it could be, you have balanced the equation there. So one is to support the national agenda, and of course locally provide opportunity to increase productivity level and at least elevate the sufficiencies. Not necessarily 100% sufficiencies, but at least elevate the level of sufficiency within the next, say from 25 at least to 40 by 40 to 50 in the next 3 years and so on. Because of course we have to consider also the farmers' adoption of the relevant technologies. And second is, of course, diversify. Diversification is a strategy, especially so in coconut, because really we are missing some opportunities, because for coconut we are only contented with copra, with buong nyog, where there are other opportunities that could be done. And of course, create job and business opportunities. Because if there are no jobs, well, the function of agriculture is one, also to secure food. That's the first function. But the second function is to create job. Because there are jobs in agriculture. And the third function is business opportunity. Would there be some process industry 3-5 years from now, so that your raw materials from agriculture can be processed to at least high value or other semi-processed item. And of course, with the guidance of the governor, implement some innovations that will address the inadequacies of the chain. So that really is the plan. There are specific plans for commodities. There are specific targets, and of course, some would require legislative support, especially in the aspect of how do we utilize some idle assets that could be used for economic activities. And second, what would be interest is there a need to incentivize farming? Maybe that could be a good point of discussion. Say, to produce more, are there any incentive for farmer? Of course, the incentive there is, of course, linked to markets, etc. So, I believe that I could somehow, in my little capacity, provide some leadership there, and of course, elevate or strengthen stakeholders' engagement in the agriculture sector, because government sometimes has a tendency to be the savior or thinking themselves as they are the only entity that could provide solutions to the issues and concerns of the private sector, of the agricultural sector, without recognizing and mobilizing the support of the private sector, who have more experience and capabilities as partners in agricultural development. So, I would imagine and I would commit that one, our focus will be on increasing productivity, opportunity, creating jobs, and strengthen stakeholders' engagement to put forward the development little by little of the agriculture sector in this province. Because even rich countries are hoarding their foods now. We cannot just say that we are very proximate to Mindoro and Quezon for our rice and vegetable needs. There will come a time when food becomes so scarce that even with this province with surplus will withhold the sales, primarily to protect or to conserve for the food need of their people. That's what's happening now in Vietnam, in Thailand. They are surplus producers of agricultural products, but now they are cutting export because of climate change and other man-made calamities. It will be better to preserve what they have than export. So, in the local context, it would be better also to develop ours such that, come what may, we will at least be able to have not necessarily 100% security, but a certain level of comfort that we can survive insofar as food requirement is concerned. I'll end with that. I'll end with that, Madam Presiding Officer and honorable members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, and I'm now ready to entertain a question, rebuttal, or suggestion or recommendation so that we can improve the delivery of services to the farmers and fisher folks in the province of Marinduque. Good morning.
Marami pong salamat, Mr. De Luna, for a very comprehensive yet in so short a time he was able to present to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan the thrust and direction of the Provincial Agriculture Office under his leadership.
We now go to the calendar of business. We don't have any unfinished business. For the business for the day, Madam Chair, considering that a previous referral from MASEC was instructed by the presiding officer to be considered in the committee level to address some legal issues, may I move that items number 1, 2, 3 for under the business for the day of today's sessions be deferred and be recommitted to the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Environmental Protection and Human Ecology so that it will be reconsidered with the hand in hand with our previous referral during the earlier portion of today's session.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the wala pang ano dito, no? Referral. Wala pang previous referral, Sec James. Itong nasa business for the day. Okay. Committee report na. Anong committee? So you okay. So the sponsoring committee of these 3 items is now requesting reconsideration.
That it be recommitted together with the 2 earlier referrals coming from ASEC.
Okay.
So that it will be integrated into one joint committee report.
Okay.
Taking into consideration the manifestation of the presiding officer earlier as with regards to the legal issues as you have mentioned.
Okay, but I just hope that the committee could also make a recommendation with speed because time is of the essence with regard to this position on the mineral production sharing agreement
Yes, Madam
applications.
Chair.
Okay.
We are committed to speed up the recommendation on this.
Thank you. With the motion of the sponsoring committee chair to defer discussion on items 1, 2, and 3 in consideration of additional documents which were referred to them for consideration, the chair approves the deferment of the this particular items.
And recommitment to the joint committee where it came from.
These three committees.
Yes.
It is already an offshoot of your committee
Yes, but
committee report.
This is an offshoot, but there are no details as to the rationale. It is an offshoot of another request with regards to the writ of kalikasan.
Okay.
So better to have a more detailed study of the 3 recommendations, taking into consideration what the presiding officer have made mention earlier.
Anong committees? Okay, with that motion, the chair declares that these 3 items, discussion on these 3 items is deferred and further referred to the joint committees of the Committee on Rule and Committee on Environmental Protection.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Next item in the business for the day is proposed resolution number 2022-35. May I ask that to recognize the gentleman from Santa Cruz, the chairperson of the Committee on Local Economic Enterprise, Private-Public Partnership and Investment Promotion.
Honorable Lim of Santa Cruz is recognized.
Mr. Floor Leader, Madam Chair, my colleagues, thank you. I present here with Madam Chair proposed resolution number 2022-35. This is with reference to the committee report that was adopted last session. The proposed resolution, I move that we pass the proposed resolution authorizing Mr. Nicholas Hung of United and Competitive Limited of Taiwan to represent the province of Marinduque in looking for potential partners for PPP projects, particularly the establishment of an incineration system subject to certain conditions. Madam Chair, so moved.
Yes, what's the pleasure of Honorable Leva?
I second to the motion.
There's a second to the motion. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next item in the business for the day is the concurrence of the appointment of Mr. Ediberto M. De Luna. May this representation be recognized?
Yes, Honorable Leva, proceed.
May I formally move that we adopt a resolution concurring to the appointment of Mr. Edilberto M. De Luna as the Provincial Government Department Head Provincial Agriculturist with salary grade number 26. I so move.
There's a motion duly seconded for the concurrence of the appointment of Mr. De Luna as requested by the governor. Can I have the document on the as requested by the governor? May copy. There is a motion by Honorable Leva, duly seconded by Honorable Mercy Rejano for the adoption of a resolution concurring the appointment of Mr. Edilberto M. De Luna as Provincial Government Department Head, Provincial Agriculturist of the Province of Marinduque. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The resolution concurring the appointment of Mr. De Luna as Provincial Government Department Head, Provincial Agriculturist of the Provincial Government of Marinduque, is hereby approved.
Next item in the business for the day is the proposed resolution number 2021-31. May I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for its sponsorship.
Proceed, Honorable Caballes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, proposed resolution number 2021-31, or resolution appropriating the total amount of 3 million pesos with the amendment that said amount be changed or amended to 4.5 million pesos for the following MOE accounts under the Office of the SP Legislative to wit: letter A, other general services, 1.65 million pesos, traveling expenses, 675,000, letter C, training expenses, 675,000, and the additional item based on the amendment, which is letter D, Vice Governor's Office, 1.5 million, Madam Chair.
What is the pleasure of Honorable Leva?
May I ask for some amendment that the title should be read as follows: resolution appropriating the total amount of 3 million for the MOE accounts under the Office of the SB Legislative and 1.5 million under the MOE accounts of the Office of the Vice Governor and 500,000 under the Office of SB Secretariat.
Is the proponent, the sponsoring chair willing to accept the
Yes, Madam
amendment?
Chair. I concur with the proposed amendments by our majority floor.
Okay, there is a motion duly seconded as presented. Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. Thus, the resolution number 2021-31 entitled Resolution Appropriating a Total Amount of 3 million pesos for the MOE accounts under the Office of the SP Legislative and 1.5 million under MOE accounts under the Office of the Vice Governor and 500,000 for MOE under the SP Secretariat is hereby approved.
Thank you very much. Another item is the proposed resolution number 2022 2022-36. May this representation again be recognized for the formal adoption of the said resolution.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move that we formally adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Expressing the Profound Gratitude of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan to the active participation and legislative accomplishment of Honorable Joel C. Cruzado during his tenure as an ex officio member of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan in his capacity as the interim president of the Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Federation." I so move.
There's a motion for the adoption of proposed resolution number 2022-36 as mentioned by the proponent. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objection? I suppose there is none. So resolution number 2022-36, expressing profound gratitude of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan to the active participation and legislative accomplishment of Honorable Joel Cruzado during his tenure as an ex officio member of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan in his capacity as interim president of the Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Federation is now adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Again, may this representation be recognized for the adoption of the resolution as an offshoot of Committee Report number 2020-22 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances and the Committee on Human Resource, Labor, and Employment.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Chair, may I move that we adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Ratifying Executive Order Number 03 Series of 2022 entitled an Order Reconstituting the Performance Management Team of the Provincial Government of Marinduque." I so move.
There's a motion duly seconded for the adoption of a resolution ratifying Executive Order number 3, Series of 2022, as presented. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. Thus, resolution ratifying Executive Order number 3, Series of 2022, entitled "An Order Reconstituting the Performance Management Team of the Provincial Government of Marinduque" is hereby approved.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Another resolution. May I move for the adoption of a resolution ratifying Executive Order number 33 Series of 2022 entitled "Promulgating a Policy of the Provincial Government of Marinduque on Equal Opportunity Principle in the four core areas of prime HRM." I so move, Madam Chair.
There's a motion to adopt a resolution ratifying Executive Order number 33 Series of 2022. Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Rejano. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. Thus, a resolution ratifying Executive Order number 33 Series of 2022 entitled "Promulgating a Policy of the Provincial Government of Marinduque on Equal Opportunity Principle in the four core areas of prime HRM" is hereby approved.
Madam Chair, may this representation again be recognized for the offshoot of our Joint Committee Report number 21-2022 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances, Committee on Ways and Means, and Committee on Public Works, Infrastructure, Land Use, and Urban Planning and Development.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Chair, may I move for the adoption of a resolution authorizing the governor to negotiate and make a tender offer to the heirs of Juana Luarca for the purchase of a lot situated in Barangay Bangbangalon, Buwak, Marinduque, involving an area of 0.0381 hectares under cadastral lot number 4369 relative to the proposed capital compound expansion project.
Is there any second to the motion of Honorable Leva?
Madam Chair, before its adoption, may I move that ask that the area be amended that instead of 0.01381 hectares, it should be 381 square meters. Masyadong mathematical pa yun. I again reiterate my motion to adopt this resolution.
There's a motion by Honorable Leva with an amendment with regard to the use of square meter. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Lim, Honorable Rejano. Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. Thus, a resolution authorizing the governor to negotiate and make tender offer to the heirs of Juana Luarca for the purchase of a lot situated in Barangay Bangbangalon, Buwak, Marinduque, involving an area of 381 square meter under cadastral lot number 4369 relative to the proposed capital compound expansion project is now approved.
Madam Chair, may this representation be recognized again for the offshoot resolution of the committee report number 2022 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Aquatic Resources.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Chair, may I formally move for the adoption of a resolution declaring Municipal Ordinance number 238 series of 2022 of the Municipality of Santa Cruz entitled An Ordinance for the Institutionalization of Community Peace Landing Center operation at Barangay Buyabod, Santa Cruz, Province of Marinduque, prescribing rules and for its administration and appropriating funds therefore valid, proper, and within the power of the Sangguniang Bayan to enact without prejudice to the review of the Sangguniang Bayan of Santa Cruz of the said ordinance for its possible amendment. I so move.
Sorry, Mr. So this is with regard to provincial ordinance.
Yes, sige. Iri muna. Sige.
Okay, is there any reconsideration? Yes, Honorable.
Yes, may I be reconsidered, Madam Chair, with regard to the offshoot of the resolution number 21 series of 22 of the Committee on Rules. Madam Chair, may I move for adoption of a resolution declaring as moot and academic the consideration for ordinance number 15-10 entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Provincial Government of Marinduque to exercise power of eminent domain by expropriating various properties of the Marcaper Mining Corporation for public use and development and therefore considered to be laid on the table. I so move, subject to style.
Is there any motion? Is there any second to the motion of Honorable Leva? Duly seconded by Honorable Rejano, Honorable Lim. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, a resolution declaring Municipal Ordinance number 15-10.
No. Provincial Ordinance. Proposed Provincial Ordinance.
Proposed ordinance, municipal ordinance na, di ba? So it's a municipal ordinance.
Provincial Ordinance.
Ito, di ba?
Pero provincial din siya municipal.
Okay. Okay, so there's a motion. So pwede nga siya laid on the table lang. Okay, this presiding officer had an impression that it is a municipal ordinance. So indeed, it can be laid on the table. But okay. There's a motion for a proposed ordinance number 15-10, declaring the resolution to declare the proposed ordinance number 15-10 as moot and academic, and is therefore being laid on the table, is now being adopted.
Again, Madam Chair, may I move in consideration of Committee Report number 22-2022 of the Rules, Laws and Ordinances of the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, may I move that we adopt a resolution declaring Municipal Ordinance number 238 series of 2022 of the Municipality of Santa Cruz entitled An Ordinance for the List. Again, Madam Presiding Officer, may this representation be recognized for the adoption of a resolution as an offshoot of Committee Report number 23-2022 2022 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Agriculture, Fisheries and Aquatic Resources.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
May I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the Honorable Governor Presbytero J. Velasco Jr. to apply, negotiate, enter into, contract, execute, sign implementation management agreement and other documents for sub-project implementation with the Department of Agriculture for financing, funding, and appropriate equity required for the farm operators of Marinduque Multipurpose Cooperative sub-project in accordance with the implementation management agreement. I so move.
There is a motion by Honorable Leva. Is there any second to that motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Rejano. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, resolution authorizing the Honorable Governor Presbytero Velasco to apply, negotiate, and enter into contract, execute, sign, implementation, management agreement, and other documents for project implementation with the Department of Agriculture for financing, funding, and appropriate equity required for the farm operation of the Marinduque Multipurpose Cooperative sub-project in accordance with the implementation management agreement is now approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Appropriation for the adoption of resolutions as an offshoot of Committee Report number 24-2022.
Honorable Caballes is recognized.
Thank you po. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this representation formally moves for the adoption of a resolution declaring resolution number 59-2022, resolution approving the curriculum year 2022 supplemental annual investment program number 2 funded from various funding sources of the municipality of Buenavista, Marinduque with a total amount of 7,073,047 pesos and 72 cents for the implementation as valid, proper, and within the power of the Sangguniang Bayan to enact. Madam Chair.
There is a motion by Honorable Caballes for the adoption of a resolution declaring valid and operative resolution number 59-2022 of the municipality of Buenavista. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Limpiada and Honorable Red. Any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, resolution number 59-2022 declaring calendar year 2022 supplemental annual investment program number 2 funded from various funding sources of the municipality of Buenavista, Marinduque with the total amount of 7,073,047 pesos and 72 cents for implementation is now declared valid, proper, operative, and within the power of the said Sangguniang Bayan and municipal government to enact. It's now being declared as such.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this representation again moves for, formally moves that resolution declaring resolution number 261-2022, resolution approving the 2022 annual investment program supplemental plan number 2 funded from the unused of the 20% development fund continuing appropriation of the municipality of Buenavista, Marinduque with a total amount of 2 million pesos for implementation as valid, proper, and within the power of the Sangguniang Bayan to enact, Madam Chair.
There is a resolution from Honorable Caballes to adopt the resolution number 61-2022. Any second to that motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Rosales, Honorable Rejano. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Thus, resolution declaring the 2020 declaring resolution number 61-2022 approving the 2022 annual investment program supplemental plan number 2 funded from unused fund of the 20% development fund continuing appropriations of the municipality of Buenavista, Marinduque with total amount of 2 million for implementation is now declared valid, proper, and within the authority and power of the said Sangguniang Bayan and municipal government of Buenavista to enact. Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Chair, May I ask that we recognize the Honorable Ismail Lim for the consideration of the proposed ordinance number 22-30.
Honorable Lim is recognized. What is the reconsideration being requested?
Madam Chair, it has come to our is the same committee report. That's Madam Chair, this reconsideration. I move, Madam Chair, that hello. I move, Madam Chair, that we pass a resolution as an amendment to the resolution that was mentioned, that was submitted by this representation earlier. A resolution authorizing Mr. Nicholas Hung of United and Competitive Limited of Taiwan to represent the governor of Marinduque, Presbytero J. Velasco Jr. in looking for potential partners for PPP projects, particularly the establishment of an incineration system subject to certain conditions, Madam Chair.
Yes, in addition to that, the presiding officer was reminded that there are provisions that should be reflected there based on the approved committee report.
Yes,
So, will the good gentleman include that?
Yes, Madam Chair, I submit.
So with that, there's a motion for reconsideration with regard to the previous resolution that we approved, with regard to the amendment in the title and some inclusions in the provisions to reflect what has been recommended and approved by the committees during the plenary. So we'll just take, can we just request the good secretary to please take note of that and to see to it that the provisions are consistent with the committee recommendations as adopted. Thank you, Honorable Lim. So is there any other, what's up, Bukal Leva?
Concludes the business for the day portion of today's session. And we don't have, we now go to do unassigned business. May I ask that Honorable Lim for some manifestation.
Okay, proceed, Honorable Lim, while our secretary is working on the final resolution.
Hello. Okay na. Madam Chair, this is relative to the pick of grid innovations proposal, Madam Chair. As a member of the committee, the selection committee, we received myself and Honorable Caballes and Honorable Red received a notice of cancellation with the subject of cancellation of evaluation and certification of the unsolicited proposal from pick of grid. And the information herewith is vital to the committee and the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, the Committee on LLE, relative to the requests from the Office of the Governor that requires the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for review and approval, Madam Chair, of the said proposals and other considerations pertaining to the joint venture. So, Madam Chair, I will submit this to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for to be referred to the concerned committee, Madam Chair. I will submit to the Secretary. Pinapakancel. So, just submit ko sa Secretary. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Lim. So this is so I think this is notice of cancellation, but addressed to the members of the selection committee. May I just formally refer this notice of cancellation, although this is not addressed to us, but this is a very important information referring to the joint committees that are handling the peak of grid issue and application.
Madam Chair, before we consider the handling of the resolution to Honorable Joel Cruzado, while waiting for the printout, may I ask that we go to the other business? We proceed with other business.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
For the proposed resolution, ordinance and resolution for third and final reading, we don't have any. Since there's no other matters to discuss with, I move for the adjournment until August 19, 2022, 10 a.m. at the SB Session Hall.
The sixth regular session is now adjourned until Friday, August 19. Muli po magandang araw po sa lahat ng mga Marinduqueños. At ito pong muli ang inyong Vice-Gobernador dito sa lalawigan ng Marinduque. Magbibigay ng konting report sa inyo kagaya ng aking pangako na pagtatapos ng aming session ay bibigyan ko kayo ng konting kwento sa kung ano ang naging highlights ng session na ginanap ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Kanina nga po ay ginanap ang Ika-6 na regular na sesyon ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan dito sa Marinduque. At ito po ay nagsimula alas 10 ng umaga at natapos pasado alas 3 na ng hapon. So medyo mahaba-haba po, kaya pati ang atin ho sigurong report ay medyo marami-rami. Isa ho sa naging highlights ay meron ho kaming bagong miyembro sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan, ang newly elected representative mula sa Philippine Councilors League Marinduque Chapter. Sa pamamagitan ni kagalang-galang Neril Manggol, konsehal ng bayan ng Mugpog, at the same time ay na-elekto na presidente ng PCL, kaya po siya ngayon ay umuupo sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan bilang isa sa mga ex-officio members. Sa session din ho kanina ay sa privilege hour, nag-avail pong muli ng privilege hour ang ating kasamang kagalang-galang Bokal Tres Mangkukang, at ang subject matter ng kanyang privilege speech ay itong sitwasyon ng pension na tinatanggap ng mga senior citizen. Ang subject matter ho ng kanyang privilege speech ay hinihinga natin ng comment mula sa proper agency, and at the same time ay pinag-aaralan kung sa mga darating na session ay i-refer pa sa concerned committee para mas masiging pag-aralan. Naging bisita rin ho namin sa question hour ang bagong appoint na department head ng Provincial Agriculture Office. Ang ating Provincial Agriculturist, si Ginoong Edilberto de Luna, na inappoint ng gobernador bilang Provincial Agriculturist natin na na-concur naman ho ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan kanina. Alam naman natin, si Mr. De Luna ho ay dating Assistant Secretary ng Department of Agriculture. Naniniwala tayo, kami pong lahat, na malaki ang maitutulong ni Sir De Luna sa pagsasaayos ng sektor ng agrikultura dito sa ating lalawigan. At gayon din, sa committee reporting ay nag-report ho ang kagalang-galang Jojo Leva on behalf ng Committee ng Rules and HR. Gayon din, ito'y tungkol ho dun sa kanyang report ay tungkol sa ilang executive order ng ating gobernador. May ni-report din ho siya bilang chair din ng Committee on Rules at the same time on behalf din ng Ways and Means and Public Ways and Means para naman dun sa mga possible expropriation initiatives ng lalawigan. Meron din ho siyang report tungkol sa fish landing ng Santa Cruz. At gayon din si Bokal Caballas ay nag-report naman tungkol dun sa mga ilang appropriation-related committee reporting. So medyo maraming report si Bokal Jojo Leva kasi siya ang chairman ng Committee on Rules na isa sa medyo matrabahong komite sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Gayon din ho ay may ilang mga important items na ni-refer sa iba't ibang committee. Meron hong mga related sa environment, ilang mining moratorium and ilang position sa mga mineral production agreement applications sa lalawigan ng Marinduque. Ito po yung refer sa proper committee. Gayon din may mga ilang request for supplemental appropriation mula sa ilang departamento kasama na ang Provincial Tourism Office at gayon din sa SP at sa OVG. Meron din ng proposed ordinance ang isang kasamahan natin na na-refer properly sa committee. Ito yung pagbibigay ng financial assistance. Yun yung particular amount na hindi ko na muna babanggitin para hindi natin ma-preempt ang ang gagawing pag-aaral ng komite. But Honorable Red introduced proposed ordinance that will provide specific amount of financial aid to the 6 municipalities in the province of Marinduque. Meron din hong dalawang NGOs na nagsubmit ng application para sa accreditation, ang MASEC ho at ang MMT Cooperative. Gayon din, meron hong mga ELA-related documents galing sa tanggapan ng gobernador, gayon din sa DILG na pinag-aaralan ngayon at nagiging gabay ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Meron hong proposed resolution, ito'y naaprubahan. Ito naman ho yung mga naaprubahan na mga resolusyon, yun hong mga ilang items, mga municipal ordinance at resolution mula sa bayan ng Santa Cruz at bayan ng Buena Vista ay naideklara na valid and operative and within the power of the said LGUs to enact. Ano po yun? Isa po na naaprubahan, isa po ay itong resolution ng bayan ng Buena Vista nagpo-provide ng kanilang supplemental annual investment program for 2022. Ito yung kanilang AIP number 2, funded from various funding sources in the amount of 7,073,047 pesos and 72 cents. Gayon din ho ang resolution na nagpo-provide naman ng supplemental AIP ng bayan din ng Torrijos. So ito hong ng bayan ng Buenavista. Ito hong dalawang AIP related resolutions ng bayan ng Buenavista ay naideklara na ngayong araw na ito ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan bilang in order, is valid and within the authority of the Sangguniang Bayan of Buenavista to enact, or the municipal government of Buenavista to do. Gayon din ho yung ordinansa naman ng bayan ng Santa Cruz. Ito ho ay yung ordinansa na nag-institutionalize ng Community Fish Landing Center operation sa Barangay Guyabod sa bayan ng Santa Cruz. Ito po ay naideklara ngayon ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan to be valid and within the authority of the said LGUTN Act. Yan ho ay isa sa trabaho namin. Yun hong mga ordinansa na ang mga investment plan at mga budget ng mga iba't ibang bayan ay na ipinapasa ng mga sangguniang bayan ay inaakyat po sa amin para i-review, para masigurado na ito hindi magiging ultra vires o hindi sasalungat sa mas mataas na umiiral na batas dito sa ating bansa, ganyan din dito sa ating lalawigan. Meron din hong resolution na naipasa na nagbibigay ng authority sa ating gobernador para mag-negotiate at magbigay ng to make tender offer to the heirs of Juana Luarca for the possible purchase of land situated dito sa Bangbangalon para naman po gamitin sa pinupropose na capital compound expansion project. So binigyan ho natin ng authority ang ating gobernador to pursue the negotiation and make tender offer for the possible sale or purchase of the said properties para gamitin ho ng pamahalaang panlalawigan. Meron din hong naaprubahan na resolution na niraratify naman ang dalawang order ng ating gobernador. Ang isa pong order ay ang order na nagre-reconstitute ng performance management team sa provincial government, at the same time ay isang order na nagpo-promulgate ng policy ng provincial government of Marinduque on equal opportunity principle in 4 core areas of prime HRM. Ito po ay mga human resource related initiatives na inaasahan natin na makakatulong upang mas maging maayos ang performance ng lahat dito po sa provincial government ng Marinduque. And meron din hong resolution na siyempre ang ating hong kasama si ting interim president ng PCL na sa loob ng isang buwan ay nakasama namin sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan bilang representative ng PCL. Si Honorable Joel Cruzado ay pinalitan ko ngayon, kagaya ng binanggit ko kanina, ngayon ay bukal na rin, Neril Manggol. At nire-recognize ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan ang naging active participation ni Honorable Cruzado sa loob lang ng maikling panahon dito sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Kaya nagpasaho kami ng resolution expressing our profound gratitude to Honorable Joel Cruzado for his active participation and legislative accomplishment during his very short tenure as an ex-officio member of this Sanggunian. At ito naman po ay personal na tinanggap din, yung mismong resolution ay personal na tinanggap din ng ating kaibigan si kagalang-galang Joel Cruzado mula sa bayan ng Torrijos. So binigyan din natin ng authority ang ating gobernador to apply, negotiate, and enter into contract with the Department of Agriculture para sa isang implementation management agreement. At ito ho ay harinaway makatulong sa sa ating concerned beneficiaries. Binigyan din ng authority sa session hong ito ang ating a certain Mr. Nicholas Hung of the United and Competitive Limited of Taiwan para mag-represent sa ating ginagalang na gobernador dito ng Marinduque para siya ay humanap at tumulong sa lalawigan ng Marinduque na makahanap ng mga potential partners for possible public-private partnership projects including incineration system. So, nagbigay tayo ng ganong authority kay Mr. Nicholas Hung. Hindi ko lang alam kung tama ang pagkaka-pronounce ko ng kanyang pangalan. So far, yun ho ang ilan sa mga naging highlights ng ating session ngayong araw na ito, ang ika-6 na regular na sesyon ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan. Patuloy niyo pong subaybayan ang ginagawa ng mga nanunungkulan at mga pinagkatiwalaan ninyo upang magsilbi sa ating lalawigan. Muli po, ito po ang inyong Vice-Gobernador dito sa Marinduque. Bumabati sa inyo ng isang magandang araw at happy weekend.